Okay, then going into network transfers, it's kind of strange to think that, network transfers are maybe not the best option for receiving files, but it is the truth that a UPS truck with a box with a hard drive in it is probably going to be moving data faster than trying to ship that hard drive byte by byte over the network. However, there are cases in which transferring files digitally is the better options. For example, receiving small amounts of data from individual contributors where each doesn't need their own hard drive and it would be kind of expensive to do that. Or if you're getting makeup files from digitization vendors because something got corrupted or they captured something incorrectly. Or potentially if you do have a digitization project and it's not a huge amount of data and also both of you have good network connections, yeah, it can work there. But much like physical devices, you should be thinking about speed here too, because this is something where the entire process will always depend on the slowest part. Here's a diagram where showing that a server connected to some network switches with a 1 gigabit Ethernet cable that eventually connects out to the internet through a 1 gigabit Ethernet cable. Well, if there's a 100 megabit cable in between, well, guess what? It's all going to be stuck at 100 megabits. It doesn't matter how fast those faster cables can run. There is that bottleneck right in the middle. And so uh, it is a good lesson to learn because oftentimes I find that that bottleneck is typically the one closest to the computer. So, for instance, it's the cable from the wall to the computer, or more importantly, it's using a wireless connection when you have a wired connection available. So, Wi Fi, as fast as it's getting, is typically slower and typically less reliable than Ethernet. And if there are data flows that you're working on, having a hardwired connection is typically going to be the better option in terms of making sure that files can flow. Now, a problem here, um, as you can see, Wi-Fi, it's getting faster, but Ethernet still much faster than that. Um, but Another problem to look out for is that all these network transfer services, they all have quirks as well. So for instance, one popular network transfer service is WeTransfer, and by default, they limit you to 20 gigabyte files at a time. You can sign up to an account that gets you a 200 gigabyte file, which they call colossal and amazing. But at the same time, when you go into video and film digitization projects, you'll quickly find out that there are times when you need more than 200 gigabytes for a single file. And so all of a sudden, WeTransfer would not work for you, even their pro level of service. Similarly, some transfer services can impose constraints on file names, just like file systems. For example, Google Drive doesn't allow files to begin with a period and will automatically just change those file names when you upload them. There's lots of small cases like this. And these common issues point out another reason for defining the components of your SIPs and the receiving process that you want to have. Because once you have those specifics, once you know what something's supposed to look like, you can start poking at your vendor and at your tools and trying to figure out, does it actually support my needs, or are there going to be cases where it's not going to be good enough?